Hey, it has been a while, but I came up with another good idea for one of my cartoon commentary reaction videos. This time of another one of Cartoon Network's What a Cartoon shorts from the 1990s. A very infamous one. Tales of Worm Paranoia. Produced in 1996 and airing in March 1997, when the first What a Cartoon run was starting to wind down. Having completed all 48 shorts planned for the series. Plus, Dexter's Laboratory had already been spun off from the What a Cartoon show into its own series, and Johnny Bravo and Cow and Chicken had already been greenlit for their own shows to debut that summer. Now, Tales of Worm Paranoia is pretty infamous for being rather dark and deranged. But given it was created and directed by Eddie Fitzgerald, that's not too surprising. Eddie Fitzgerald was especially known for working at Warner Brothers Animation in the early 90s and the first 2 seasons of Tiny Toon Adventures, and then working at Spunko afterwards, where he worked on the Ren and Stimpy show, including the infamous adult party cartoon. So, you will see influences from both shows here, with a strong Bob Clampett vibe. Eddie Fitzgerald even had Kennedy cartoons, infamous for their wonky Tiny Toon Adventures animation, work on this short with animation by founder Glenn Kennedy, along with Carbunkle cartoons, who collaborated with Spunko on numerous projects, with animation by founder Bob Jacques and his wife Kelly Armstrong. Even though Carbunkle Cartoons isn't around anymore, Bob Jacques and Kelly Armstrong have even worked as animation directors on the Ren and Stimpy reboot series being produced for Comedy Central. Eddie Fitzgerald was one of the few Tiny Toon Adventures staffers who actually liked Glenn Kennedy's animation and would have him work on as much of his stuff as possible. Most notably the third act of the Here Today, Gone Tomorrow episode, which Eddie directed and rewrote a good chunk of the entire third act there, and Glenn Kennedy entirely animated that. So it's a no-brainer Eddie would hire Kennedy to work on this short. But let me get it started.
What?
Yep. That familiar intro. Yeah, get a load of the Flash and Glenn Kennedy and Bob Jacques and Kelly Armstrong. Yeah, that's some pretty flashy titles there. That Night on Ball Mountain music.
What are you looking
Yep, that's Glenn Kennedy animating. This is one of my favorite pieces of animation he did, being so fluid and bouncy in a good way.
Listen to yourselves, you should be looking.
Oh, wow. Now we get some Carbunkle Cartoons animation.
Once, I was a peaceful worm. A job, a girlfriend, everything. Then came that fateful day.
Ah, the spring song. There's quite a few classical music pieces.
Gotta go to work, honey. Bye.
Great wacky animation from Kennedy and a guy leaving for work. Yes, you may have noticed this short's even using stock music from the APM library, just like Ren and Stimpy. They even got one of the same music supervisors, the late Henry Porch.
Peace, man. Oops, I forgot my keys.
Have a nice.
Darn keys.
Have a nice.
Ugh. It's almost like the guy is aware of Johnny's presence and is just torturing him.
Gotta get that exercise.
Yeah.
Put out that forest fire.
Love that particular track there.
Bye, honey.
Oh, it's a great driving kind of theme. Ooh, such a freaky close-up deranged smile for Johnny.
What are you doing?
And there's the Alfred Hitchcock theme. Funeral March of a Marionette.
Come for it, Johnny.
Oh, that was also used on Ren and Stimpy, of course. Even if it wasn't parodying the Alfred Hitchcock Presents show. Ah, the Saw theme. But even with the Ren and Stimpy stock music and similar mannerisms, the characters in this have a very Warner Brothers influence look to their designs. I could see those worms being in a 1940s Looney Tunes short directed by Bob Clampett.
I know that humanity is foul and evil, but it doesn't bother me. Really. I'm gonna put it all to rights.
Vitriol. Avoid contact with face.
It's a really fluid animation of the human skull that's melting.
What's it for?
Oh, not
There's the
much.
Anitra's dance music piece Ren and
Just
Stimpy
because
used
of
a
the
lot.
certain human I know. Watch out, Sally.
Ooh.
Johnny!
This is like if Chinese Food Adventures ever used the APM library for its music.
Don't touch
There's some really wild Glenn Kennedy animation now.
soul is on fire!
Oh, you can definitely tell when he's animated, the way it's so, bouncy and... But here it actually works. Compared to like Chinese Food Adventures or some of the Disney shows he worked on. Ooh. A lot of familiar Warner Brothers and Hanna-Barbera sound effects in this too. The morning move for the period suite, as heard in a bunch of Warner Brothers cartoons.
Want another blanket, Johnny?
Ooh, that's definitely a Ren and Stimpy vibe with the close-up painting. Of course, this wasn't the only time Hanna-Barbera Cartoon Network Studios did that in the 90s. Some episodes of Dexter's Laboratory also did so, as they feature some of the same artists.
Oh, how could I have been so wrong? I lost
That
my
psychodrama
humanity
thing that the first two seasons of Ren and Stimpy could be infamous for.
But what can I do to make up for it all?
Oh, Glenn Kennedy.
I've got it! I'll apologize to the human!
There's that declarative finger pose Glenn Kennedy loved animating. The When Johnny Comes Marching Home track in the APM library Ren and Stimpy used. The way
You don't know me, but I had wrath!
Also, it's worth mentioning Johnny Worm here is voiced by Pat Penny, the voice of Penny the Pirate on SpongeBob. He also played that live-action King Koopa in the later episodes of this cool cartoon show after the late Chris Lana was killed. Pat also voiced that goofy human that trampled on Johnny earlier.
All living things, from the lowest protozoan crawling on its belly in the lowlands. Lowlands.
I love that random close-up mouth shot Glenn Kennedy animated. Now we jump back to Carbunkle cartoons. Now it's Kennedy again.
Blessings upon the universe and
At times, the switches between Carbunkle and Kennedy are a little distracting, but it's still a lot of fun to watch.
oh, how I love
A shame Kennedy cartoons never worked on Ren and Stimpy, because that would have been right up Glenn Kennedy's alley.
Bye,
Ha!
gotta go to work again.
Back to Kennedy.
Oops, forgot my shoes.
This time he hit him with the door. Didn't hear a word he said. Yep, I used that ending card to close out my Kennedy Cartoons YouTube too. And the closing credits for this one are unique. Instead of just playing clips of the cartoon that just ended, just holds to that freaky close-up smile of Johnny Worm with farting sound effects added. Kennedy and Carbunkle cartoons in the actual animation. Their work was combined in the big paint and camera stages of HB's Filipino division, Phil Cartoons. And you may have seen that special thanks credit to that wacko, John Crisfalucci. But that might also be because John Kay was actually involved in the hiring and training process for all the young and aspiring animators and artists working on the What a Cartoon show. As in addition to the Looney Tunes, What a Cartoon took quite a bit of inspiration from Ren and Stimpy, with each short being a creator-driven gag plot cartoon produced in a manner somewhat reminiscent of older theatrical animated shorts. And you could really see that with Tales of Worm Paranoia. Another really Ren and Stimpy influenced What a Cartoon short is Buy One, Get One Free, created by a former Ren and Stimpy artist from the game's animation era, with a very similar vibe, but nowhere as gross or disturbing. But I hope you found this fascinating and informative during that wild era of television cartoons for kids, the 1990s. And of course, keep watching this channel to see whatever I do here next.